Hello again, everyone. This is Vince. He's Jimmy. We're with Couch Coaching. We're here to do the week 5 through 8 matchups for the Houston Texans. We already did their weeks 1 through 4 matchups. And I predicted they'd be 4-0. Jimmy predicted they would be 2-2. And as of right now, the Texans are 4-0, and a lot of the experts feel like they're the best team in the league.
And I have to admit, as an AFC fan, I'm really for Pittsburgh, but I live here in Houston.
Yep.
I have to say that I'm actually very surprised. 4-0. They've been in the league for 10 years. This is the 10th season, I believe.
Right. This is their 10th. This is
the first time they've ever been 4-0. Not to say their matchups were easy, but you know.
Look, the thing about the Texans is, because the 4 teams they played in their first 4 matchups. First they played Miami, then they played Jacksonville, then they played Denver, and they played Tennessee. Now, 2 of those teams are divisional opponents. The AFC South is not strong, and Miami is a team that's in rebuild mode. But Miami is a lot better than I think all of us had predicted they would be.
Yeah, I agree.
But having said that, you know, look, what you're supposed to do as a team, you're supposed to go out there and beat the team that's in front of you. I don't care how good or how bad they're supposed to be. And they've done exactly what they're supposed to do. You know, the game against Miami turned into a rout, even though it wasn't a rout early in the second quarter. I mean, it was really close, but they got a bunch of turnovers, and they turned on turnovers into points in the second quarter. The game against Jacksonville, I mean, they crushed them 27-7.
Yeah.
The game against Denver, even though the game against Denver, which we both thought would be their toughest matchup, you know, they went out there and they handled their business. Even though the final score was 31-25, it wasn't really that close.
No. I mean, when you went back and watched that game, Denver got a late touchdown late in the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes left, and it was only because Texans were in a prevent mode.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like they were sending anybody. I mean, it was still a two-score game with 5 minutes left. So, I mean,
so they just were playing the clock, basically.
Yeah, they were just playing the clock anyways, trying not to get anything real deep. I mean, he was throwing a lot of underneath stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, the Houston Texans surprised me, I have to admit. And because I really did think that the 2 teams that would give them the most problems would have to be, you know, Tennessee, barring had they played a lot better, and then Denver. But, you know, Denver just didn't do it, and Tennessee didn't do it today either.
No, Tennessee, they beat Tennessee today 38-14. You know, Jake Locker went down with a shoulder injury. Chris Johnson actually looks like he was kind of showing up this week. He actually broke 100 for the first time broke 100 yards rushing for the first time since last season.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, in the fourth quarter is when he broke the 100 yards. Anybody who plays any kind of football or knows about football knows that if you're up by multiple scores, the offense is going to try to throw the ball to try to get a quick score.
Right.
So they're sitting they're playing cover 3s, they're playing cover 4s and all that stuff. So
they're getting the big plays.
They'll let you have the underneath stuff, run the ball, QB draw, H-back draw, whatever.
Right.
And that's where he got most of his yards from, were, you know, plays like that, because, you know, they weren't expecting it.
Exactly.
But they were expecting the bigger plays at that. So, I mean, even with that, you know, congratulations to the Houston Texans, because 4-0, first time in your season's history, 10 years being in the league. I have to admit, this team right here has actually surprised me a lot, and I'm actually looking forward to see what they can do later on. Well, I mean, it may actually change my opinion on how they are, and who knows, I may have 2 AFC teams that I root for.
Well, you know, look, the thing about it is, you know, with 4-0 is 4-0. I don't care who you play.
Right.
In the NFL, 4-0 is 4-0.
And they still get paid to play.
Exactly, and that's exactly what the Texans are. So they handled their business the first quarter of the season. And so we're going to talk about their second quarter of the season. And in their Week 5 matchup, they'll be playing the New York Jets in New York on Monday night. Primetime game. You know, here
they've had too many of those either.
No, they haven't. And look, that's here in Houston. You know, that's the one thing that you know, for whatever reason, a lot of people in Houston, you know, feel like you know, we're the stepbrothers to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Because
Dallas is the #1 America's team. But having said that, you know, the Texans.
I am not a Cowboys fan, by the way. I am totally not. I live here in Texas, and if the Cowboy Stadium caught on fire, I would not care. Just saying.
He doesn't really mean that, Jerry. Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
But having said that, you know, the Texans are now starting to get the recognition that they always felt like they deserved. So here's the thing. I think what Gary has, and look, kudos to the ownership for sticking with Gary, you know, through the rougher times, you know.
Yeah, because I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, they were 8-8, then they went 6-10. A lot of people were like, well, the only reason he kept his job because they had the lockout going on and all that stuff. And
instead of getting rid of Gary, they got rid of Bush. I think it's who it was.
Yeah, Bush was their defensive coordinator, and then they got Wade.
Yeah, they got rid of Bush, and it was like, well, that's not the answer. It's Kubiak. No, I had to say that even during those times, I liked Kubiak because he was with Denver.
Right.
Whenever they went with John Elway to the Super Bowl, and they had Terrell Davis.
Yeah, as their running back. Yep.
They did the zone back then too, and I've always liked Gary Kubiak.
Right.
I was never sold on the Texans, but I like Gary Kubiak as a head coach.
Right.
And even when they went 6-10, 8-8, I stuck behind them, and I'm glad they kept him.
Right.
And now I've gotten rid of him because there's no telling where this team would have been if they had gotten rid of Gary Kubiak and brought somebody else in.
You know, a lot of times, a lot of times people have this knee-jerk reaction and you know, firing coaches all the time. Oakland Raiders. And firing head coaches all the time and thinking that's it. But sometimes that's not it. You got to give the person a legitimate chance to get something done. So, you know, again, they're playing the Jets on their Week 5 matchup in New York on Monday night. Look, the Jets
Hands down.
Look, they're going to beat the Jets. The Jets got it handed to them today by the San Francisco 49ers. And yes, the San Francisco 49ers has one of the best defenses in the league. But guess what? So do the Houston Texans.
That's it.
So I think that the Jets will lose on Monday night at their stadium.
Okay, real quick, I have to ask because right now there's a lot of controversy with Sanchez. I know this is off the topic, Sanchez and Tebow. If the Jets lose Monday night prime time and Sanchez does not act a fool, as in like throwing many yards and completions and no interceptions.
Right. Just how about so let's do this. What if they lose? Okay, when they lose to the Texans?
Yeah.
And Sanchez throws 2 interceptions or 3 interceptions.
Well, that's my question to you.
Right.
Do you think that New York is going to be in an uproar and say it's Tebow time?
It's Tebow time?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think look, here's the thing. Do I think because look, it will be interesting to see what happens with that, but I don't think that they would do that because Tebow is not the answer.
I know that.
I know
that. You know that, and anybody else who is not a true Tebow fan,
right?
I mean, I respect the man because you know he can do things on the field that most quarterbacks can't.
But that's because he's a running back,
right? So he's not a true quarterback, and that's the reason why he's not with Denver,
right?
But I mean, saying that, Rex Ryan got him for a reason,
right?
And I don't know if it was to light a fire under Sanchez to tell him, look, if you don't do good, we'll replace you with a worse quarterback than you could ever think of, or what. But I don't think. But you never know with New York. New York,
you really don't. And I don't think so either. But when you look, they got shellacked. The Jets got shellacked, 34-0 by the San Francisco 49ers. And here's Mark Sanchez's stat line. 13 of 29 for 103 yards. Now look, I personally wouldn't have a problem with 13 of 29. What I got a real problem with is the 103 yards.
Yeah.
So what that's telling me is
1 interception and 1 fumble, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So no, 1 INT. I think he did have a fumble also.
Yeah, he did have a fumble as well.
So the thing about it is, and I know this is we're here to talk about the Texans, but this is their next opponent. And the thing about it is that you know the problem, I don't know if it's Sanchez. I don't know if it's the person that they have around him because, you know, again, we were talking earlier about the Redskins and you know, look, Robert Griffin is successful because they got Robert Griffin some talent.
Right.
Cam Newton is successful, and I'm just talking about other quarterbacks in the league, is successful because they have some talent. If you don't bring in any talent, because Priest Holmes is not, I mean, he's talented, but he's just a little talent.
Well, I mean, all right, let's look at that game just real quick, and then we'll move on.
Santonio Holmes.
Santonio Holmes is injured. He actually went down with a no-contact injury. Don't know what the information is on that yet. Darrelle Revis, star defensive player.
Their best player.
is out
for the season.
With the season. And a couple of weeks ago, Rivas said he was the best wide receiver under Santonio Holmes.
Right.
So if your number one wide receiver is out, your second wide receiver who is actually on your defense is out, who do you have to throw to?
You know
and
what?
then on top of that, your running game is down.
You know what? Your Tebow comment might be gaining some momentum here. Because, hey, look, New York, this is dire times for them. You know, they say all the time.
It has to be hard to be a Jets fan.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. You know.
Because you don't go out and pick up anyone really special in a draft, or you don't get free agent. What do? You go and pick up a quarterback who beat you because he beat you. And Tony Soprano,
yeah,
Soprano, however you want to say his last name,
yeah,
the Wildcat founder, decided it was going to be a great idea to pick up a quarterback who doesn't throw great,
right,
to run his Wildcat. So it's not like you have to sit there and defend wide receivers,
right, and that's your number 2 quarterback on top. I mean, look,
I hope nothing happens to Sanchez, because I think it would be a circus in New York.
More of a circus.
Moving on.
So yeah, moving on. Look, the Texans should win this game
easy.
And again,
if they don't even come home.
Look, the thing about it is that up to this point, again, they've been handling. I mean, they've been going to work like they got suits on. They've really been handling their business, and they take every game as a game, and as that week we need to win this week.
Right.
So I don't see them having a real problem. And again, being that they're on prime time, we in Houston know how good they are. I don't know if the rest of the country knows how good the Texans are. And I think they're really going to show it. Those of you who are going to watch that Monday night game, I'm going to tell you something. Watch out for number 99, J.J. Watt. Best defensive player in the league. That's my opinion. I feel like he's the best defensive player in the league. The dude he's just a monster. That's why they could tell Mario goodbye.
Yep. And that's why they did it. Look where he's at now.
Look where he's at now.
Buffalo freezing his tail off.
Right. So I think we both.
He's going to the bank.
Yeah, but he's going to the bank, exactly. Cashing big checks. So we both agree that the New York Jets will lose that month. Well, the Texans will beat the New York Jets on that Monday night matchup, which will make them 1-0 in this second quarter of the season.
Right.
Then they'll be playing the Green Bay Packers at home on a Sunday night game.
So that's two primetime
games that, again, the Texans going. I feel like, again, they'll probably have on the catch-up balls. If you're not from Texas, you don't know what I'm talking about. They'll probably have on their red jerseys.
Yeah.
But it's the Sunday night matchup. They battle red is what they call it. And so they'll be playing the Green Bay Packers, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with them playing against Green Bay. Green Bay right now, they're 1-2. I think they have a game in progress against
and they're actually winning that game. They're playing the New Orleans Saints. It's 21-17.
It's 24-21 right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My nail didn't refresh.
That's all right. It's 24-21 right now. That they're losing right now to the Saints. And again, the Saints are 0-3, so they're a team of desperation. And again, you playing desperate teams. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So the Saints are hanging in there. It'll be interesting to see what happens to the Green Bay Packers after this particular matchup, because right now they're 1-2. They should be 2-1. They got robbed in Seattle. I'm gonna call it what it is, but thank God it happened because we got the real refs back.
Yeah.
So
it was a blessing in disguise,
right.
But it was a
for
tragedy.
The rest of the league.
Yeah, it was a tragedy for Green Bay.
Right.
Because again, as long as the defender catches it and you catch the defender,
right,
that's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown according to replacing the refs. I was telling my co-host here, what the funny part about it is again, we are here in Texas and we love our football. So the official that made the call, of course, he lost his NFL job after that week. He shows up Friday at a Texas high school football game.
And he's reffing.
And he's reffing a high school football game. That just shows you how underqualified these guys were. Now look, I know it's tough refereeing. I do know it's tough. And I'm not saying that the real officials get everything right.
Right.
But after watching these week 4 games as opposed to the weeks 1 through 3, The game is managed so much better.
And do you notice how the players aren't up in the referee's ear?
Right. Players or coaches.
Yeah. The refs, I actually saw, I forget what game I was watching, but a player tried to get up in the referee's ear. The other official pushed him away and said, no, you stay back there.
Right.
We got this up here.
Right.
And they know. So when they start walking that way, the refs looking at them, they're like, all right.
Right.
And they step back. Because now they know that them little stunts and little, hey,
it's
look,
not gonna work here.
He's holding me. You need to throw this flag. He's holding me. And then they'll throw it. Like, oh, yeah, I just, I got a call.
Right.
No, it's like, look, we'll do our job, you do your job.
Exactly.
And that's what I miss. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Maybe in about week 8, we'll start cussing out the refs again.
Right. Exactly.
Right now, they're all good.
Right now, they're all good. We all standing up, giving them a standing ovations. But I was having said that the Texans in that matchup, depending on where Green Bay will be at the time, I don't know what their record will be. But what Green Bay has a problem is that they still can't run the ball. Cedric Benson is better. So at least they have a real run threat back there. But
I don't even think that's going to be the problem. I think their problem is going to be their defense.
Yeah.
I think their defense is going to be what's there because it's been shown if you keep an elite quarterback off the field and only give them 5-6 minutes to work with the entire quarter,
right?
They can't. It's harder for them to get the plays that they want. So with the Texans, they do a great job of a 1-2 punch with Arian Foster and Ben Tate in the backfield.
Right.
And that works off their play action.
Right.
And you've got Andre Johnson, and you got Daniels, you got Casey, you got all them other special talent.
Right.
With the wide receivers.
Exactly.
But you've got to worry about the run first.
Exactly.
Because Arian Foster can shred your defense up single-handedly.
And we're not even talking about Ben Tate yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to expect that. So, I think their defense is going to be in for a rude awakening.
Right.
If they're not ready for this game.
Right.
And I think with them running the ball, keeping their defense on the field, and Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines.
Right.
I think that's what's going to help the Texans win this game.
Right. And I think again, because we had talked earlier about how, the Houston fan base wants the team to get the respect that they feel like they deserve. Again, this is a matchup. Again, you come off a Monday night matchup and then you come into a Sunday night matchup. So that's 2 weeks that the entire nation will see you prime time. The problem will be, and the only problem that I can foresee is that although Matt Schaub is not taking a lot of sacks, he's taking a lot of hits.
Yeah.
So they have the offensive line, and I guess they're gonna have to chip him with one of the tight ends also. They have to control him and make sure that Matt Schaub doesn't take those hits, because as good as T.J. Yates did last year, which is the backup quarterback for the Texans, you don't want to see him.
Yeah.
You want to see Schaub right where he is doing exactly what he's doing.
Right.
So I think that would be the only issue or the only problem that may
happen. And I think
and
I hate to cut you off, but I think a lot of people are going to see exactly what the Texas defense has
exactly.
going against the wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers throws to.
Right.
Because he doesn't just have 1 or 2.
Yeah,
he's got like 5 or 6. Everyone that's eligible on that field means that they're eligible.
Right.
So you've got 4 good wide receivers, you got a tight end, and you got your running back.
Right.
So I mean, all of these people are wide receivers.
Right.
So they don't run the ball very well, but they throw the ball very
well. And so I think that'll be the one issue. I feel like the Texans will win this game.
I do too.
Barring Schaub going down or any major injuries or anything like that, I think the Texans should win this game. And we both agree, and they'll be 2-0 in the second quarter. Now you know what? Then they have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, look, the first quarter, and again, when I say quarters, they play 16 games. And so we've already talked about weeks 1 through 4, and now we're talking about weeks 5 through 8. This second quarter will probably be their toughest quarter because, again, we've already talked about the Jets, but the Jets are not going to be not as good as everybody had predicted at the beginning of the season. So with that, I think that's going to be a walkover.
Who predicted them to be good at the beginning of the season?
Experts. But Green Bay is pretty good. They're good. They have offensive weapons. Their defense, I think, will be the thing that does them in their matchup. And then Baltimore, here in Texas, they got some revenge that they want to exact on the Ravens.
I'm gonna go ahead and just go out and say it. I know the Texans lost to them twice last season at MT stadium.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to lose to them 3 times. I honestly think that Baltimore is great at stopping the run. They showed it last year.
Right.
The only difference is that the offensive is they've actually weakened their offensive line some.
Right.
And they've gotten rid of Jacoby Jones. But Jacoby Jones
plays for Baltimore.
Is playing for Baltimore.
Right.
And he's doing a fantastic job, which he did not do when he was in Texas.
Right. I don't know who that Jacoby Jones is, but that was the one we wanted here.
Yeah. So I honestly think that Baltimore will win this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to say this because the thing about it is, will the Texans be 7-0 going into their bye week?
If they are,
I mean, it sounds crazy to me, and I'm almost like I'm like this. I want to say that they'll lose to Baltimore, I really do. But dang, going into the bye week at 7-0. So look, I'm gonna flip my imaginary coin, put it down. And I feel like the Texans will win this matchup and be 7-0 going into their bye week. So Jimmy has them going 2-1.
2-1.
And I have them going 3-0 until going into their bye week, which is their week 8 for the second quarter of the season. All right, everybody. Again, this is Couch Coaching. Thanks for stopping by. If you do or don't like anything that we said, put some comments down here at the bottom of the page. And also, check us out on Facebook at Couch Coaching 12. I've been having problems with that all day today. Couch Coaching 12. And again, thanks for stopping by.